It's NNX from the Northwestern News Report, where we give you campus news faster than you can eat a bowl of mac and cheese. I'm Rachel Spears.
And I'm Allison Miller. Let's get right into tonight's top stories. Yesterday, Students for Justice in Palestine hosted a walkout picket at The Rock, violating the new demonstration policy added to the student handbook before the school year started. Students left classrooms across campus at 1 p.m. to demand action from the university for further divestment from Israel and to mourn lives lost during the war. But the new demonstration guidelines, quote, prohibit demonstrations at The Rock before 3 p.m. and using amplified sound before 5 p.m. In an email to NNN, Northwestern spokesperson John Yates says that the university plans to take action against students, saying the protesters also, quote, failed to comply with the directives of Northwestern officials on site, disrupting classes in nearby buildings. Yates also told NNN the university has already started an investigation to determine the identities of those in violation of the new policy, saying they will be facing disciplinary action. And earlier this week, Northwestern communities gathered to remember the lives lost during and since the October 7th terrorist attack. On Sunday, Students for Justice in Palestine held a vigil at The Rock to, quote, mark 1 year of genocide. Also on Sunday, Jewish Voice for Peace gathered for a taklik, Jewish ritual meant to cast away sins. JVP encouraged participants to look internally as they entered the new year during Rosh Hashanah. The organization saying that the focus of their ritual is to channel their grief into action to, quote, stop the genocide of Palestinians. And on Monday, Northwestern Hillel held a separate vigil on Deering Meadow to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the Hamas attack. Community members gathered to say prayers, tell stories about the victims, and remember the hostages still taken by Hamas.
As students return to campus this fall, they're finding some unique roadblocks along the way to class fences. Significant work is happening on Norris University Center's Cohen Lawn, which is set to feature an outdoor amphitheater, flexible seating and games, and a pub. Norris operations are continuing as normal.
This is really kind of an unmet need, and it's going to bring this common ground where faculty, staff, and students, upper class students and graduate students, will be able to share experiences together.
The Cohen Lawn project is set to be complete in summer 2025, just in time for next fall quarter.
Northwestern's class of 2028 and transfers have officially begun classes, and the university released a demographic breakdown of the cohort last week. NNN's Victoria Ryan is here to tell us about the newest Wildcats. Victoria, what were some of the highlights of the press release?
Yeah, so Allison, there were quite a few broken records this year in the class of 2028. 13% of the incoming class are international students, and 22% are low-income and Pell eligible. There were also a record high number of Questbridge and Posse scholars. These students come from all 50 states and Puerto Rico, 90 different countries, and 6 different continents.
Now, this incoming class is the first admission cycle since the 2023 Supreme Court ruling that banned race-conscious admissions. How did this affect NU?
Yeah, so while other schools like Dartmouth, MIT, and Brown saw a decline of the percentage of minority groups on campus, NU did not. There was an increase in the number of African American students, Hispanic, Latinx, and first-generation percentages in this year's cohort.
Thanks, Victoria, and welcome to campus, class of 2028 and transfers.
Students and faculty across campus tuned into last week's vice presidential debate between candidates J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. Over 50 students gathered in the Communications Residential College's lounge for a watch party, organized by Medill Professor Emeritus and CRC Faculty Chair Roger Boy. For just over some minutes, Senator Vance and Governor Walz debated issues like abortion, the economy, and immigration, among others. Students and experts alike are saying it's the most civil debate they've seen in years, and it's tough to call who truly won. There isn't another debate on the books yet between presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Students are keeping their eye on all of the candidates with the election now just less than a month away.
Nonprofit arts organization Evanston Made celebrated local artisans with their last Makers Market of the season this weekend. Located on the 5th floor of the 1800 Maple Parking Garage, the Makers Market gave local artists a chance to share their work with the Evanston community. It featured a variety of vendors selling food and handmade crafts. The products ranged from $5 to $500, so there was something for everyone. The market gave students a chance to find affordable decor and connect with creatives.
And if you're a college student, if you're on a budget, if you're moving to 14 different apartments in the time that you go to college, you can't buy a 7-foot painting, but you can buy some cool letterpress posters.
Saturday was the last Makers Mart of the season, but Evanston Made hosts events throughout the year. Check out their website, evanstonmade.org, to learn more.
The Evanston Animal Shelter hasn't had a home for the past year. After operating out of a temporary space, they moved into a brand new building over the weekend, built just for its furry friends. NNN's Julia Navarez-Magia has more.
This building is soon to be filled with lots of barks, meows, and ahs, giving pets a new place to call home. The facility is meant to fill the ever-changing needs of Evanston's four-legged community.
If somebody walks in the door and they're surrendering their animal because they can't afford it, the next question isn't, here, sign these papers and go away. The next question is, well, if we helped you with food, could you keep the pet? If we gave you free vaccinations once a year, could you keep your pet?
The process to update the 50-year-old building started 5 years ago when the county gave an over $2 million grant to upgrade the facility.
The space that we had wasn't appropriate for what we were experiencing either. It was a pound at one time.
The shelter has been operating out of 2 temporary locations in the past year. Even though they've been separate, the heart of the animal shelter has always stayed in place.
My 16-year-old kiddo has spent a tremendous amount of time in the last few years volunteering at the Evanston Animal Shelter. And, they enjoy it primarily because of the cats, there's no question. But they also enjoy it because of the people, because of the warm environment.
From an open kennel room to a medical exam room, the over 8,000 square foot facility is ready to welcome their perfect family. In Evanston, Julia Narvaez-Munguia, Northwestern News Network.
Organizers say all of the cats and dogs will be moved into the space this week. While this process might be rough, they'll soon be open to the public for adoptions.
Wow, that was a great story. Do you have any pets at home?
I do, actually. I have 2 cats. Their names are Chester and Tuck.
Oh my gosh.
I love them so much.
Adorable. I actually had the opportunity to go to the Evanston Animal Shelter's temporary location last year, so it was nice to see pets away from home. I have a cat. Her name's Cleo, and she's a little senior, so really great. Yeah. All right.
Sure. That's all the time we have for today. Stay tuned for the Northwestern News Report right after this. I'm Rachel Spears.
And I'm Allison Miller. Have a great night.